The setting of Ryan Coogler's Sinners is not merely a backdrop but a living, breathing character in its own right. The film transports audiences to the Mississippi Delta during the Great Depression, a period marked by economic hardship, racial tension, and the vibrant, defiant spirit of the African American community. From the opening frames, the director and his creative team make a conscious effort to immerse viewers in the sights, sounds, and textures of 1930s rural life. The landscape is both beautiful and harsh, with sprawling cotton fields, dusty roads, and ramshackle homes that speak to the struggle and resilience of the people who inhabit them. Production designer Hannah Beekler, known for her Oscar-winning work on Black Panther, has meticulously recreated the era's aesthetic. Every prop, from the weathered wood of the juke joint to the rusted farm equipment scattered across the land, is chosen for authenticity. The color palette is deliberately muted, dominated by earth tones and sepia shades, evoking old photographs and newsreels from the period. This visual approach not only grounds the film in its historical context but also heightens the emotional impact of the story. When the supernatural elements are introduced, the contrast between the grounded realism of the setting and the fantastical horror is all the more striking. Sound design plays a crucial role in establishing atmosphere. The ambient noise of cicadas, distant train whistles, and the hum of conversation in the juke joint create a sense of place that is both specific and universal. The film's score, composed by Ludwig Göransson, blends traditional blues with orchestral elements, underscoring both the joy and sorrow of the characters' lives. The music is not just background but a narrative device, reflecting the community's hopes, fears, and resilience. Cinematographer Rachel Morrison, another Academy Award winner, uses natural lighting and wide shots to emphasize the vastness of the landscape and the isolation of the characters. The camera lingers on faces, capturing the weariness and determination etched into the skin of the townspeople. Close-ups of hands working the land or playing instruments highlight the physicality of their existence. The use of handheld cameras during more intimate moments adds a sense of immediacy and realism, while sweeping crane shots during musical numbers evoke the grandeur of classic Hollywood musicals. The film's attention to detail extends to the costumes, designed by Ruth E. Carter. The clothing worn by the characters is period accurate, with frayed edges, patched fabric, and faded colors that reflect both their economic status and their individuality. Each costume tells a story, from the sharp suits of the visiting musicians to the simple, work-worn dresses of the local women. The contrast between the characters' everyday attire and the more elaborate outfits worn during the juke joint's grand opening underscores the importance of music and community as an escape from hardship. The juke joint itself is a microcosm of the world outside, a place where people come together to forget their troubles, if only for a night. The interior is dimly lit, with flickering lanterns casting long shadows on the walls. The air is thick with smoke and the scent of sweat and alcohol, creating an atmosphere that is both welcoming and slightly dangerous. The filmmakers use this space to explore themes of unity and division, as characters from different backgrounds interact, sometimes harmoniously, sometimes with tension. The supernatural elements, when they arrive, are seamlessly integrated into this carefully constructed world. The vampires are not simply monsters but symbols of the systemic oppression and violence that the characters face in their daily lives. The horror is rooted in the real-world fears of the community, making the fantastical elements feel grounded and emotionally resonant. The shift from drama to horror is gradual, allowing the audience to become fully invested in the setting before the stakes are raised. Throughout the film, the setting and atmosphere serve as a constant reminder of the characters' struggles and triumphs. The Mississippi Delta is not just a place but a state of mind, shaped by history, culture, and the collective memory of its people. By immersing the audience in this world, Sinners invites viewers to experience the story on a visceral level, connecting them to the characters' joys and sorrows in a way that is both intimate and universal. Plot overview. At its core, Sinners is a story about homecoming, brotherhood, and the battle between good and evil, both literal and metaphorical. The film opens with a sweeping shot of the Mississippi Delta, the camera gliding over fields and rivers before settling on two figures, the twin brothers Smoke and Stack, played with nuance and distinction by Michael B. Jordan. The twins, having spent years away from their hometown, return with dreams of transforming their family's rundown barn into a juke joint, a place of music, laughter, and community in a world often marked by hardship. The plot unfolds in three distinct acts, each with its own tone and pace. The first act is devoted to world building and character introduction. Smoke, the more pragmatic and reserved brother, is haunted by memories of violence and loss, while Stack is charismatic, impulsive, and driven by a desire to uplift those around him. Their dynamic is central to the film's emotional core, and director Ryan Coogler takes his time establishing their relationship, allowing the audience to invest in their hopes and struggles. As the brothers work to renovate the barn, they encounter resistance from both the local white landowners and members of their own community, some of whom fear that the juke joint will attract trouble. These early scenes are rich with detail, painting a vivid picture of life in the segregated South. The film does not shy away from the realities of racism, poverty, and social tension, but it also celebrates the resilience and creativity of the African American community. Music is a constant presence, with impromptu performances and jam sessions providing moments of joy and release. The second act shifts the focus to the grand opening of the juke joint. The night is electric with anticipation, as townsfolk gather to dance, sing, and forget their troubles. The film's musical sequences are a highlight, capturing the energy and spirit of the era. It is during this celebration that the tone begins to darken. Strange occurrences, a sudden drop in temperature, flickering lights, uneasy glances hint at an encroaching threat. The audience, by now fully invested in the characters and their world, begins to sense that something is amiss. The arrival of a mysterious group of strangers marks the transition from drama to horror. At first, these outsiders are welcomed as travelers seeking shelter and entertainment. Their leader, played with chilling charisma by Jack O'Connell, is both alluring and unsettling. As the night progresses, it becomes clear that these newcomers are not what they seem. The revelation that they are vampires is handled with a slow burn intensity, building suspense and dread without resorting to cheap scares. The third act is a masterclass in tension and escalation. As the vampires reveal their true nature, the juke joint becomes a battleground. Smoke and Stack, along with a handful of survivors, must fight for their lives against an enemy that is both supernatural and symbolic. The film uses the vampire mythos as a metaphor for the predatory forces of racism and exploitation, drawing parallels between the bloodsuckers and the real-world oppressors who have long plagued the community. Throughout the chaos, the brothers' bond is tested and ultimately strengthened. Smoke's cautious pragmatism and Stack's reckless bravery prove to be complementary strengths, allowing them to outwit and outlast their foes. The final confrontation is both thrilling and cathartic, blending action, horror, and emotional drama in equal measure. The film's denouement is bittersweet. The juke joint, once a symbol of hope and renewal, lies in ruins, but the community has survived. The surviving characters gather at dawn, battered but unbroken, their resilience a testament to the enduring power of unity and love. The closing scenes are quietly powerful, eschewing triumphalism for a more nuanced reflection on loss, survival, and the possibility of redemption. What sets Sinners apart from more conventional horror films is its commitment to character and theme. The plot is driven not by spectacle but by the choices and relationships of its protagonists. The supernatural elements, while central to the story, never overshadow the human drama at the heart of the film. Instead, they serve to heighten the stakes and underscore the film's exploration of historical and social trauma. The screenplay, co-written by Coogler and Joe Robert Cole, is tightly constructed, with each scene building organically on the last. Dialogue is sharp and evocative, revealing character and advancing the plot without feeling forced or expository. The pacing is deliberate, allowing the audience to savor the film's atmosphere and emotional beats, but it never drags or loses momentum. In summary, The plot of Sinners is a rich tapestry of genre elements, character study, and social commentary. It is a story that rewards patience and attention, offering both visceral thrills and thoughtful reflection. By the time the credits roll, the audience has been taken on a journey that is as emotionally resonant as it is entertaining, leaving a lasting impression that lingers long after the lights come up. Genre fusion. Ryan Coogler's Sinners stands as a bold experiment in genre fusion, weaving together strands of horror, drama, musical, western, and even elements of blaxploitation into a singular, ambitious cinematic tapestry. This genre-defying approach is not only a testament to Coogler's creative vision but also a reflection of his career-long commitment to blending the personal with the political, the historical with the fantastical, and the intimate with the epic. A patchwork of traditions. From the outset, Sinners signals its intent to transcend easy categorization. The film's setting, Jim Crow Mississippi in the 1930s, immediately situates it within the tradition of Southern Gothic drama, a genre known for its exploration of racial tension, family secrets, and the haunting legacy of slavery. Yet, as the story unfolds, the film's narrative and stylistic choices draw liberally from a variety of cinematic traditions. The juke joint, central to the film's plot, is not just a location but a stage for exuberant musical performances, echoing the structure and energy of classic musicals. The brothers' journey home and their confrontation with evil evoke the tropes of the Western, with the dusty roads and small-town dynamics reminiscent of frontier tales. Horror as allegory. Horror, however, is the film's most pronounced genre, and Coogler deploys it with both reverence and innovation. The arrival of vampires led by the magnetic, menacing Rem, Jack O'Connell, marks a decisive tonal shift. Yet, these supernatural antagonists are not mere monsters, they serve as potent allegories for systemic oppression, predation, and the cyclical nature of violence in American history. The horror here is not just about jump scares or gore, though the film does not shy away from violence, it's about the existential dread of living under constant threat, the fear of losing community, and the struggle to maintain hope in the face of overwhelming darkness. Musical and cultural resonance. What truly distinguishes Sinners in the crowded field of genre cinema is its musicality. The blues, both as a soundtrack and as a narrative force, permeates the film. Composer Ludwig Göransson's score fuses traditional Delta blues with contemporary elements, underscoring the film's themes of generational trauma and resilience. Musical sequences are not mere interludes but integral to the storytelling, connecting past, present, and future in a single, transcendent moment. In one of the film's most celebrated scenes, dancers from different eras, traditional and modern, share the floor, blurring the boundaries between time periods and artistic styles. This musical fusion is emblematic of Coogler's broader approach: history and myth, reality and fantasy, all coexist in the same cinematic space. Blaxploitation and redemption. There are also unmistakable echoes of blaxploitation cinema, particularly in the film's celebration of black resilience, style, and agency. The characters' swagger, the stylized violence, and the subversive humor all recall the films of the 1970s that reclaimed black narratives from Hollywood stereotypes. Yet, Coogler updates these tropes, grounding them in emotional authenticity and historical specificity. Sinners is, as one critic notes, a redemption movie, a revenge movie with elements of blaxploitation, and certainly a red blood-soaked horror movie. It's also deeply romantic and has moments of exuberant joy. This balancing act between darkness and light, horror and hope is what gives the film its unique rhythm. A new model for genre storytelling. Coogler's genre blending is not merely a stylistic flourish, it is central to the film's impact and meaning. By refusing to be pinned down, Sinners mirrors the complexity of the black experience in America, an experience shaped by joy and suffering, tradition and innovation, survival and transcendence. The film's willingness to shift tones, to embrace both the surreal and the grounded, challenges audiences to expand their own definitions of what a genre film can be. Critical and cultural impact. This genre fusion has not gone unnoticed by critics and audiences. Sinners has been hailed as a cinematic celebration and a passionate, effusive praise song about life and love, including the love of movies. Its success at the box office and in the awards conversation suggests that audiences are hungry for films that defy easy classification and offer something genuinely new. In a cinematic landscape often dominated by formula and franchise, Sinners is a reminder that risk-taking, when paired with craft and vision, can yield extraordinary results. Conclusion. Ultimately, the genre fusion of Sinners is both its greatest strength and its boldest gamble. By blending horror, drama, musical, western, and blaxploitation elements, Ryan Coogler has crafted a film that is as unpredictable as it is unforgettable. It is a work that honors the traditions it draws from while forging a new path, one that future filmmakers may well follow. In the hands of a lesser director, such ambition might have led to chaos. With Coogler at the helm, it results in a film that is cohesive, resonant, and deeply moving. Direction and vision. Ryan Coogler's Sinners is a testament to the power of directorial vision in shaping not just a film's story, but its cultural resonance and emotional depth. Coogler, already celebrated for his work on Fruitvale Station, Creed, and Black Panther, here pushes his craft further, blending genres and historical commentary into a singular cinematic experience. The direction of Sinners is marked by a commitment to authenticity, a reverence for Black history and music, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths through the lens of horror and myth. A vision rooted in history and music. From the outset, Coogler's vision for Sinners is clear: to use the supernatural as a metaphor for historical trauma and the resilience of Black communities. The film, setting the Mississippi Delta during the Jim Crow era, is meticulously recreated, with every detail, from the architecture to the dialect, reinforcing the sense of place and time. Coogler's direction ensures that the audience is not just observing history but inhabiting it, feeling the weight of the past in every frame. This immersion is crucial for grounding the film's more fantastical elements, making the horror feel both otherworldly and historically rooted. Music, particularly the blues, is another pillar of Coogler's vision. The film opens with a narration that frames music as a bridge between generations, a force that can summon both healing and danger. Coogler's direction ensures that music is not just a backdrop but a character in its own right, shaping the narrative and emotional arc of the film. The blues, with its legacy of sorrow and joy, becomes a metaphor for the Black experience, one that is both celebrated and exploited throughout history. Genre blending and narrative ambition. Coogler's direction is fearless in its genre blending, weaving together horror, drama, musical, and Western elements into a cohesive whole. This approach allows the film to explore complex themes such as cultural ownership, assimilation, and resistance through multiple lenses. The horror elements, especially the introduction of vampires, are not just for shock value, they serve as allegories for real-world oppression and exploitation. Coogler's direction ensures that these metaphors are never heavy-handed but instead emerge organically from the story and characters. The narrative structure of Sinners is ambitious, shifting between past and present, reality and myth, and individual and collective experience. Coogler's direction is particularly adept at handling these transitions, using visual and auditory cues to guide the audience through the film's shifting tones. The result is a film that feels both epic and intimate, with moments of quiet reflection punctuated by bursts of violence and musical exuberance. Collaborative craftsmanship. Coogler's vision is realized through close collaboration with a talented creative team. The cinematography, by Rachel Morrison, captures the beauty and brutality of the Delta, using natural light and expansive compositions to evoke a sense of both freedom and confinement. The production design, by Hannah Beekler, is rich in period detail, grounding the film's supernatural elements in a tangible reality. The score, by Ludwig Göransson, blends traditional blues with orchestral flourishes, underscoring the film's emotional and thematic currents. Personal and political commitment. At its core, Sinners is a deeply personal film for Coogler, drawing on his own family history and experiences. The director's commitment to telling stories that center Black voices and experiences is evident throughout. The film's narrative and visual language are infused with a sense of pride and defiance, celebrating the creativity and resilience of Black communities in the face of systemic oppression. Coogler's vision also extends to the business of filmmaking. His arrangement with Warner Brothers, which allows him to retain the rights to Sinners after 25 years, is a bold statement about artistic ownership and legacy. This move has sparked debate within the industry, but it reflects Coogler's broader vision of true freedom for Black creatives, not just the opportunity to make films, but the ability to own and preserve them for future generations. Themes of ownership and legacy. The direction of Sinners is ultimately about more than just storytelling, it is about reclaiming and redefining cultural narratives. Coogler's use of horror as a vehicle for historical commentary allows the film to explore the ways in which Black art and identity have been appropriated and exploited. The character of Remick, the white vampire who seeks to assimilate Black music and culture, is a direct reflection of these themes. Coogler's direction ensures that the film's message is not just about resistance, but about the power of creation and legacy. The film's final act, in which the characters band together to defeat the vampires, is both a thrilling climax and a metaphor for collective action and cultural preservation. The film's closing moments, with the community gathering at dawn, battered but unbroken, are a powerful affirmation of resilience and hope. Conclusion. Ryan Coogler's direction and vision for Sinners are what elevate the film from a genre exercise to a modern American classic. His commitment to authenticity, his reverence for Black history and music, and his willingness to confront uncomfortable truths through horror and myth make Sinners a film that is both timely and timeless. Coogler's vision is not just about making a great movie, but about building a legacy, one that honors the past, challenges the present, and inspires the future. Cinematography and visuals. The visual language of Sinners is one of its most defining and celebrated achievements, elevating the film from a genre exercise to a work of cinematic art. The collaboration between director Ryan Coogler and cinematographer Autumn Durald Arcapa has resulted in a film that is not only visually stunning but also deeply expressive, using every frame to reinforce the story's themes of history, oppression, and resilience. A historic achievement in cinematography. Autumn Durald Arcapa's work on Sinners is groundbreaking in more ways than one. She is the first woman to shoot a feature film on 65mm IMAX film, a historic milestone in an industry where female cinematographers remain underrepresented. This technical and cultural achievement is notable not only for its rarity but for the boldness of its execution. Shooting on large-format film brings a level of visual grandeur and immersive detail that few digital formats can match, and Arcapa's mastery of the medium is apparent in every shot. Initially, Coogler had planned to shoot Sinners on 16mm to evoke the grainy, intimate feel of period dramas. However, after a suggestion from Warner Brothers executive Jesse Ehrman, Coogler and Arcapa pivoted to the IMAX format. The decision was driven by a desire to draw audiences back into theaters, offering an experience that streaming simply cannot replicate. The result is a film that feels both epic and immediate, with an unparalleled sense of scale and intimacy. Visual storytelling, mood, texture, and atmosphere. The cinematography in Sinners is meticulously crafted to serve the narrative. The use of natural lighting, especially in the sprawling landscapes of the Mississippi Delta, creates a sense of authenticity and isolation. Wide shots emphasize the vastness and flatness of the southern setting, while close-ups capture the emotional nuances of the characters' faces. The interplay of light and shadow is used to evoke both the beauty and the menace of the world the characters inhabit. One of the most memorable sequences shot in a Western style against a sunset features a confrontation between the Irish vampire Rem and the Choctaw, blending genre influences with a painterly visual style. Crane work and Steadicam shots are employed to create both sweeping vistas and intimate, eerie moments, reflecting Coogler's fondness for hallways and confined spaces that heighten tension and suspense. Color palette and production design. The film's color palette is dominated by earthy browns, deep blues, and muted reds, evoking the period's photographic and artistic sensibilities. These choices are not merely aesthetic, they reinforce the film's themes of struggle, survival, and the enduring spirit of the Black community. The production design, led by Hannah Beekler, complements RKO's cinematography, with every set and costume chosen to enhance the film's visual storytelling. Blending realism with the supernatural. Perhaps the greatest triumph of Sinner's cinematography is its ability to blend the real and the supernatural. The Gothic horror elements, creeping shadows, flickering candlelight, and haunting nighttime sequences are seamlessly integrated into the historical setting. The camera lingers on the juke joint's smoky interiors, the moonlit fields, and the spectral figures that haunt the edges of the frame, creating a world where history and myth are inextricably linked. Recognition and industry impact. RKO's work has not gone unnoticed. Critics have praised the film's visuals for their blend of discomfort and beauty, capturing both the harsh realities of 1930s Mississippi and the allure of the supernatural. There is growing speculation that Sinners could finally bring a woman the Oscar for Best Cinematography, a feat that has eluded the industry despite several nominations for trailblazers like Rachel Morrison, Ari Wegner, and Mandy Walker. A cinematic experience designed for theaters. Both Coogler and RKO have emphasized that Sinners is designed to be experienced in a cinema. The scale and detail of the IMAX format, combined with the film's immersive sound design and music, make for a viewing experience that is both sensory and emotional. Michael B. Jordan, who stars as the twin brothers, has spoken about the film's intent to draw audiences back to the cinema. It takes you on a journey. Conclusion. The cinematography and visuals of Sinners are a masterclass in the power of film to transport, unsettle, and inspire. Autumn Durald RKO's historic achievement, combined with Ryan Coogler's visionary direction and a world-class creative team, has produced a work that is as beautiful as it is haunting. Every frame is loaded with meaning, every shot a testament to the enduring power of visual storytelling. Music and sound design. The music and sound design of Sinners are not mere embellishments, they are the film's lifeblood, pulsing through every scene and infusing the narrative with both historical authenticity and emotional resonance. Ryan Coogler's vision for the film is deeply intertwined with the legacy of blues music, and this is reflected in the meticulous attention paid to every note, every rhythm, and every ambient sound that fills the world of 1930s Mississippi. The blues at the heart of the film. Set in Clarksdale, Mississippi, the cradle of blues, the story of Sinners is inseparable from its musical roots. The juke joint the twin brothers open is more than a setting, it's a sanctuary, a stage, and a battleground, all brought to life by the music that fills its walls. The film's soundtrack is a celebration of the blues, featuring both classic standards and original compositions that evoke the era's raw emotion and social struggle. Composer Ludwig Göransson, a frequent Coogler collaborator, crafts a score that is both period-accurate and daringly modern. Göransson's work fuses traditional Delta blues with orchestral flourishes and subtle electronic textures, creating a soundscape that feels timeless yet fresh. The film's musical sequences are dynamic and immersive, with performances that are as much about storytelling as they are about entertainment. The blues is not just heard, it is felt, its rhythms and lyrics echoing the characters' hopes, fears, and pain. Musical performances as storytelling. Throughout Sinners, music is used to advance the plot, deepen character relationships, and heighten tension. The grand opening of the juke joint is a standout sequence, featuring electrifying performances that draw the entire community together and set the stage for the supernatural chaos to come. Delroy Lindo's character, a charismatic blues musician, mentors the twins and leads several numbers that are both joyous and haunting, reinforcing the film's themes of resilience and resistance. The film's cast, including Michael B. Jordan and Miles Caton, deliver performances that are physically demanding and musically nuanced. The actors trained extensively to capture the authenticity of live blues performance, and their commitment is evident in each scene. The musical numbers are choreographed to blend seamlessly with the narrative, ensuring that the film's momentum never falters, even during its most exuberant or introspective moments. Sound design, creating a living world. Beyond the music, the sound design of Sinners is a masterclass in atmosphere and immersion. The ambient sounds of the Mississippi Delta cicadas, distant trains, footsteps on wooden floors are layered with care, grounding the film in a tangible reality. The juke joint's interior is alive with the clinking of glasses, laughter, and the hum of conversation, creating a sense of place that is both intimate and universal. When the film shifts into horror, the sound design becomes more experimental, using silence, distortion, and sudden bursts of noise to unsettle the audience. The arrival of the vampires is heralded not just by visual cues but by a chilling change in the sonic landscape. The music grows discordant, the ambient sounds fall away, and the audience is left in a state of heightened anticipation and dread. These choices amplify the film's tension and ensure that the supernatural elements feel both shocking and inevitable. Technical excellence and audience experience. Critics and audiences alike have praised the film's sound mix, noting that Sinners is best experienced in a premium theater environment, such as IMAX or Dolby Cinema. The expanded aspect ratio and immersive audio design make the musical and horror sequences especially impactful, enveloping viewers in the world Coogler and his team have created. Some viewers have even recommended using closed captioning, as the richness of the soundscape can occasionally make dialogue difficult to catch. Music as metaphor and message. At its deepest level, the music and sound design of Sinners serve as metaphors for the film's exploration of cultural ownership, oppression, and liberation. The blues, born from suffering and perseverance, becomes a symbol of the community's strength and a weapon against the forces that threaten to consume it. The film's climactic musical showdown is not just a battle for survival but a reclamation of voice and identity, underscoring Coogler's belief in the transformative power of art. Conclusion. Music and sound design are the soul of Sinners, elevating the film from a historical drama and supernatural thriller to a full-bodied, immersive experience. Through Göransson's evocative score, the cast's passionate performances, and the meticulous sound design, the film pays homage to the enduring legacy of the blues while forging new ground in cinematic storytelling. In Sinners, every note and every sound is a testament to the power of music to heal, unite, and resist. Performances. The performances in Sinners are nothing short of extraordinary, anchoring the film's ambitious blend of genres and themes with emotional authenticity, physical intensity, and remarkable versatility. Led by Michael B. Jordan in a dual role, the cast delivers a masterclass in acting that is both deeply grounded and thrillingly theatrical, ensuring that the characters' journeys remain the heart of the film even as the supernatural stakes escalate. Michael B. Jordan, a dual tour de force. Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of twin brothers Smoke and Stack is a career-defining achievement. The actor, already acclaimed for his work in Creed and Black Panther, here demonstrates a breathtaking range, distinguishing the two siblings not just through costume and makeup but through subtle shifts in posture, voice, and emotional energy. Smoke, the quieter, more introspective brother, is haunted by the past and burdened by responsibility. Jordan imbues him with a quiet strength, his eyes conveying years of pain and resilience. In contrast, Stack is charismatic, impulsive, and driven by a desire to uplift those around him. Jordan's performance as Stack is electric, his energy infectious, and his vulnerability palpable. The interplay between the two characters, often in the same scene thanks to seamless visual effects, is both technically impressive and emotionally resonant, creating a sense of brotherhood that is both tender and fraught. Supporting cast, depth and nuance. The film's ensemble is equally strong, with each actor bringing depth and nuance to their roles. Miles Caton, as the twins' childhood friend and confidant, delivers a performance that is both comic relief and emotional anchor. His chemistry with Jordan is natural and affecting, grounding the film's more fantastical elements in genuine human connection. Jack O'Connell, as the mysterious and menacing Rem, is a revelation. O'Connell's portrayal is both seductive and terrifying, his charm masking a predatory menace that becomes increasingly apparent as the story unfolds. His scenes with Jordan are charged with tension, and his presence looms large over the film's second half. Delroy Lindo, as the wise and weathered blues musician who mentors the twins, is a standout. Lindo's performance is soulful and commanding, his voice and presence imbuing the film with a sense of history and gravitas. His musical numbers are among the film's most memorable moments, and his mentorship of the twins adds a layer of emotional depth to their journey. Lindo's ability to convey both joy and sorrow, often in the same scene, is a testament to his craft. Young talent and ensemble dynamics. The film also features strong work from its younger cast members, including rising stars who bring freshness and vitality to their roles. The community that gathers at the juke joint is brought to life by a diverse ensemble, each actor contributing to the sense of a living, breathing world. The interactions between characters, whether playful, romantic, or fraught with tension, are handled with sensitivity and realism, making the film's climactic battle for survival all the more impactful. Physicality and musicality. The performances in Sinners are not limited to dialogue and emotion, the cast's physicality and musicality are central to the film's success. The actors trained extensively to capture the authenticity of blues musicians and dancers, and their commitment is evident in every musical sequence. The choreography, both in the dance numbers and the action scenes, is executed with precision and passion, adding to the film's immersive quality. The cast's ability to convey character through movement, whether in a joyous dance or a desperate fight for survival, is a testament to their dedication and skill. Emotional range and thematic resonance. What sets the performances in Sinners apart is their emotional range and thematic resonance. The actors navigate the film's shifting tones from drama to horror, from humor to heartbreak with ease, ensuring that the audience remains invested in the characters' fates. The film's exploration of themes such as brotherhood, community, and resistance is brought to life through the cast's nuanced portrayals, making the story's message both personal and universal. Critical acclaim and awards buzz. The performances in Sinners have been met with widespread critical acclaim, with particular praise for Michael B. Jordan's dual role and Jack O'Connell's chilling antagonist. The film is already generating significant awards buzz, with speculation that Jordan could receive his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. The ensemble's chemistry and commitment have also been highlighted as key factors in the film's success, with many critics noting that the performances elevate the material and make the film's genre-blending approach feel cohesive and compelling. Conclusion. The performances in Sinners are the film's beating heart, grounding its ambitious narrative in emotional truth and human connection. Michael B. Jordan's dual portrayal is a tour de force, supported by a talented ensemble that brings depth, nuance, and authenticity to every scene. Together, they ensure that Sinners is not just a genre experiment but a deeply moving and unforgettable cinematic experience. Character development. In Sinners, character development is not just a narrative device but the very soul of the film, shaping its emotional resonance and thematic depth. Director Ryan Coogler and his co-writer Joe Robert Cole have crafted a story in which every character's journey is marked by growth, struggle, and transformation, ensuring that the audience is invested not only in the plot's supernatural stakes but in the deeply human stories at its core. The twin brothers, Smoke and Stack. The film's central characters, Smoke and Stack, are twin brothers who return to their hometown in 1930s Mississippi with dreams of opening a juke joint. Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of both roles is a masterclass in nuanced character work. While physically identical, the brothers are distinct in personality and outlook. Smoke is the more introspective and cautious of the two, burdened by past traumas and a sense of responsibility for his family and community. His journey is one of self-forgiveness and courage, as he learns to confront his fears and lead by example. Stack, on the other hand, is charismatic, impulsive, and driven by a desire to bring joy and hope to those around him. His arc involves reckoning with the consequences of his actions and discovering the true meaning of brotherhood. The film takes great care to establish the brothers' relationship before introducing the supernatural threat. Early scenes depict their banter, conflicts, and mutual support, creating a foundation of authenticity and warmth. As the story unfolds, the brothers' bond is tested by external forces and internal doubts, but it ultimately emerges stronger, serving as the emotional anchor of the film. Supporting characters, community and mentorship. Sinners is populated by a rich ensemble of supporting characters, each with their own arcs and motivations. Miles Caton's character, the twins' childhood friend, provides comic relief and emotional support, but he is also given moments of vulnerability and growth. His loyalty to the brothers is tested, and his own journey involves stepping out of their shadow and finding his voice. Delroy, Lindo's blues musician, is a mentor figure whose wisdom and experience guide the twins and the community. Lindo's character is not just a source of music but of moral and spiritual guidance, embodying the resilience and creativity of the Black experience. His mentorship is crucial to the brothers' development, helping them navigate the challenges they face and inspiring them to stand up for what is right. The film also features a diverse cast of townspeople, each with their own stories and struggles. These characters are not mere background, they are given moments to shine, their interactions with the main cast adding texture and depth to the film's portrait of community. The sense of a collective journey is palpable, as the characters come together to face the supernatural threat and reclaim their home. Antagonists, complexity and symbolism. The film's antagonists, led by Jack O'Connell's Rem, are more than just monsters. They are symbols of historical and social oppression, their predatory nature reflecting the real-world forces that have long threatened marginalized communities. Rem is charismatic and seductive, his charm masking a ruthless hunger for power and control. His relationship with the twins is complex, marked by manipulation and psychological warfare. The film explores how the antagonists exploit the community's fears and divisions, making their threat feel both supernatural and all too real. Themes of growth and resilience. Character development in Sinners is intimately tied to the film's themes of growth and resilience. Each character is given space to evolve, to confront their past, and to find strength in unity. The film's pacing allows for quiet moments of introspection and connection, ensuring that the characters' transformations feel earned and authentic. The brothers' journey from self-doubt to self-empowerment is mirrored in the community's collective struggle to overcome adversity. Gender and generational dynamics. The film also explores gender and generational dynamics, with female characters playing pivotal roles in the community's survival. Their strength, wisdom, and agency are highlighted, challenging traditional genre tropes and adding further depth to the film's portrayal of resilience. The interplay between older and younger characters underscores the importance of legacy and the transmission of cultural knowledge. Emotional payoff and audience connection. The careful attention to character development pays off in the film's emotional climax, as the characters band together to face the supernatural threat. The audience's investment in their journeys makes the stakes feel personal and urgent, heightening the impact of the film's action and horror sequences. The final scenes, in which the survivors gather at dawn, are a testament to the power of community and the enduring spirit of the characters. Conclusion. Sinners stands out for its commitment to character development, ensuring that every individual's journey is meaningful and resonant. The film's exploration of brotherhood, mentorship, and community is both deeply personal and universally relatable, grounding its genre-blending narrative in emotional truth. Through nuanced performances and thoughtful writing, Sinners delivers a story that is as moving as it is thrilling, reminding us of the power of character to drive both plot and meaning. Pacing. The pacing of Sinners is one of its most distinctive and, at times, divisive features. In a cinematic landscape where many genre films rush headlong into action or horror, Sinners takes a more measured, deliberate approach, allowing its story, characters, and atmosphere to unfold organically. This choice is both a strength and a potential stumbling block, depending on audience expectations and preferences. A deliberate, layered opening. The film's first act is marked by a slow, almost languid pace. Director Ryan Coogler resists the temptation to introduce the supernatural threat immediately, instead choosing to immerse the audience in the world of 1930s Mississippi. The camera lingers on the landscape, the rhythms of daily life, and the relationships that form the backbone of the community. Scenes of the twin brothers renovating the juke joint, sharing meals, and interacting with townsfolk are given ample time to breathe. This approach allows viewers to become deeply invested in the characters and their environment, making the eventual intrusion of horror all the more jarring and impactful. For some, this slow build is a welcome change from the frenetic pacing of many modern films. It creates a sense of anticipation and tension, drawing the audience into the story's emotional core. For others, especially those expecting a more traditional horror experience, the early pacing may feel too leisurely, even meandering. The film's willingness to prioritize character and atmosphere over immediate thrills is a bold creative choice that sets it apart from its peers. Transition to genre-bending momentum. As the narrative progresses, the pacing shifts subtly but unmistakably. The juke joint's grand opening marks a turning point, with the film's energy ramping up alongside the music and festivities. The arrival of the mysterious strangers introduces a note of unease, and the film's tempo begins to quicken. Coogler expertly uses musical sequences and dance numbers not just as entertainment but as a means of building momentum, layering joy with an undercurrent of dread. The transition from drama to horror is handled with finesse. Rather than relying on abrupt tonal shifts, Coogler allows the suspense to build gradually, using visual and auditory cues to signal the impending danger. The pacing here is reminiscent of classic horror films, where tension is ratcheted up incrementally, keeping the audience on edge without resorting to cheap jump scares. This slow burn approach pays off in the film's second half, as the supernatural elements come to the fore and the stakes escalate. The final act, controlled chaos. The film's final act is a masterclass in controlled chaos. Once the vampires reveal their true nature, the pacing accelerates dramatically. Action sequences are tightly choreographed, blending horror, suspense, and emotional drama. The sense of urgency is palpable, but Coogler never loses sight of the characters' emotional journeys. Even in the midst of chaos, moments of quiet connection and reflection are woven in, preventing the film from descending into pure spectacle. The climax is both thrilling and cathartic, with the pacing reaching its peak as the community bands together to fight for survival. The editing is sharp and purposeful, ensuring that the action is coherent and impactful. The film's use of music and sound design in these sequences further amplifies the sense of momentum, driving the story to its emotional and narrative crescendo. Aftermath and reflection. Following the film's explosive climax, the pacing slows once more, allowing space for reflection and resolution. The survivors gather in the dawn's early light, their exhaustion and relief palpable. Coogler gives the audience time to process the events of the story, emphasizing the themes of resilience, unity, and hope. This return to a slower pace reinforces the film's commitment to character and emotion, ensuring that the story's conclusion feels earned and satisfying. Balancing multiple rhythms. One of the film's most impressive achievements is its ability to balance multiple rhythms and tones. The pacing shifts fluidly between moments of quiet introspection, exuberant musicality, simmering suspense, and explosive action. This dynamic structure mirrors the film's genre-blending approach, keeping the audience engaged and off balance in the best possible way. The result is a viewing experience that is both unpredictable and deeply immersive. Audience reception and critique. The film's pacing has been the subject of much critical discussion. Some reviewers have praised Coogler's willingness to let the story unfold at its own pace, arguing that it allows for greater emotional depth and thematic complexity. Others have expressed frustration with the film's slow start, suggesting that it may test the patience of viewers accustomed to more conventional horror pacing. Ultimately, the pacing of Sinners is a reflection of Coogler's artistic vision. It demands patience and attention from its audience, but it rewards that investment with a rich, layered narrative and a powerful emotional payoff. The film's willingness to take its time is a testament to its confidence and ambition, setting it apart as a work of substance and style. Conclusion. The pacing of Sinners is both a creative risk and a defining strength. By allowing the story and characters to develop organically, Coogler crafts a film that is as emotionally resonant as it is thrilling. The film's dynamic structure, shifting from slow-burn drama to high-stakes horror, ensures that the audience is both challenged and captivated. In a genre often defined by formula, Sinners stands out for its willingness to forge its own path, trusting in the power of story, character, and atmosphere to carry the day. Horror elements. The horror elements in Sinners are both a homage to classic genre conventions and a bold reimagining of what horror can mean in a historical and cultural context. Ryan Coogler's approach to horror is layered and intentional, using the supernatural not simply for scares, but as a vehicle for social commentary, emotional catharsis, and thematic depth. A slow-burn introduction to terror. Unlike many contemporary horror films that open with immediate shocks or graphic violence, Sinners opts for a slow-burn approach. The first act is almost devoid of overt horror, instead focusing on character and world building. This deliberate pacing allows tension to simmer beneath the surface, with subtle hints and unsettling details foreshadowing the darkness to come. Flickering lights, unexplained chills, and uneasy glances create a sense of foreboding long before the true threat is revealed. This restraint not only heightens the eventual impact of the horror but also grounds it in the lived reality of the characters, making their fear and vulnerability deeply relatable. The vampires, monsters and metaphors. When the horror does arrive, it is both literal and symbolic. The vampires in Sinners are not just supernatural predators, they are embodiments of systemic oppression, exploitation, and historical trauma. Their arrival at the juke joint is marked by a chilling shift in tone, as the joyous celebration gives way to dread and violence. The vampires' hunger for blood is paralleled by their desire to appropriate the music, culture, and vitality of the black community, making them uniquely menacing and thematically resonant antagonists. Jack O'Connell's portrayal of Rem, the lead vampire, is particularly effective. His charm and charisma mask a deep malevolence, making the horror as much psychological as it is physical. The vampire's ability to blend in, to seduce and manipulate, adds an extra layer of terror, suggesting that the real danger is not always obvious or external. Atmospheric and sensory horror. Coogler's use of atmosphere is central to the film's horror. The cinematography and sound design work in tandem to create a sense of unease, with shadows looming in every corner and music shifting from uplifting to discordant. The juke joint, initially a place of warmth and community, becomes claustrophobic and threatening as the vampire's presence grows. The film's use of silence, sudden noises, and distorted soundscapes amplifies the suspense, keeping the audience on edge. Practical effects and makeup are used to great effect, with the vampire's transformations depicted in ways that are both grotesque and mesmerizing. The horror is often more implied than shown, relying on suggestion and the power of the unseen to evoke fear. This approach is reminiscent of classic horror films, where what is left to the imagination is often more terrifying than what is shown on screen. Violence, survival, and catharsis. When violence does erupt, it is swift, brutal, and meaningful. The action sequences are choreographed to maximize suspense and emotional impact, with the characters' desperation and resourcefulness at the forefront. The film does not revel in gore, but neither does it shy away from the realities of violence and loss. Each confrontation with the vampires is charged with emotional stakes, as the characters fight not just for their lives but for their community and their legacy. The horror in Sinners is also cathartic, providing moments of release and empowerment. The community's eventual stand against the vampires is both a literal and symbolic act of resistance, transforming the horror from a source of helplessness to a catalyst for unity and defiance. The final showdown is as much about reclaiming agency and identity as it is about survival, making the horror meaningful and resonant. Subtext and social commentary. Perhaps the most striking aspect of the horror in Sinners is its subtext. The vampires are clear metaphors for the forces that have historically preyed upon black communities: racism, cultural appropriation, economic exploitation. Coogler uses the conventions of horror to explore these themes in ways that are both visceral and thought-provoking. The fear and suspense are not just about monsters in the dark, but about the real-world dangers that have shaped the characters' lives and histories. This thematic depth sets Sinners apart from more conventional horror films. The supernatural elements are never gratuitous, they serve to illuminate the characters' struggles and the broader social context. The film's willingness to confront uncomfortable truths through horror is both courageous and innovative, expanding the genre's possibilities and relevance. Critical reception and audience response. The film's horror elements have been widely praised by critics and audiences alike. Many have noted the effectiveness of the slow burn approach, the richness of the atmosphere, and the power of the metaphors at play. Some horror purists may wish for more sustained scares or graphic content, but most agree that the film's restraint and intelligence make its moments of terror all the more impactful. Conclusion. The horror elements in Sinners are integral to its success, providing not just thrills and chills, but a profound exploration of fear, trauma, and resilience. By blending supernatural terror with historical and social commentary, Ryan Coogler has crafted a film that is as thought-provoking as it is frightening. Sinners redefines what horror can achieve, using the genre to tell a story that is both timely and timeless, personal and universal. Social commentary. Sinners is a film that pulses with social commentary, using its supernatural premise not just to entertain, but to provoke thought and reflection about the lived realities of Black Americans past and present. Ryan Coogler, known for infusing his films with political and cultural resonance, crafts a narrative in which every element, from character to setting to horror, serves as a lens through which to examine issues of race, power, exploitation, and resilience. Historical context and racial oppression. Set in the Jim Crow-era South, Sinners grounds its story in one of the most fraught periods of American history. The Mississippi Delta is not just a backdrop, it is a symbol of both suffering and survival. The film's depiction of segregated communities, economic hardship, and pervasive violence is unflinching, refusing to romanticize or sanitize the realities of Black life during the 1930s. The juke joint, central to the narrative, is a sanctuary from oppression, a place where music, laughter, and community offer fleeting respite from the dangers outside. The arrival of the vampires is a potent metaphor for the predatory nature of systemic racism. These supernatural antagonists do not simply threaten the characters' lives, they threaten their culture, their music, and their sense of self. The vampires' desire to consume and appropriate the blues is a clear parallel to the historical exploitation of Black art and labor, a theme that resonates throughout the film. Cultural appropriation and artistic ownership. One of the film's most incisive commentaries is on the subject of cultural appropriation. The vampires, led by Jack O'Connell's Rem, are depicted as outsiders who covet the vitality and creativity of the Black community. Their attempt to steal the music and spirit of the juke joint is not just an act of violence, but an act of erasure. This dynamic mirrors the real-world history of Black artists whose innovations have been co-opted, commodified, and often stripped of their original meaning and power by dominant cultures. Coogler uses the horror genre to dramatize this process, making the struggle for artistic ownership a matter of literal life and death. The film's climax, in which the community bands together to defend their music and their home, is both a thrilling set piece and a powerful statement about the importance of cultural preservation and self-determination. Community, resistance, and solidarity. At its heart, Sinners is a story about the power of community in the face of overwhelming adversity. The character's survival depends not on individual heroism, but on collective action and mutual support. The film celebrates the resilience, resourcefulness, and creativity of Black communities, highlighting the ways in which music, storytelling, and tradition have served as tools of resistance and survival. The depiction of the juke joint as a site of both joy and struggle is particularly resonant. It is a space where the community can come together, assert their identity, and find strength in one another. The film's musical sequences are not just moments of entertainment, but acts of defiance, reminders that even in the darkest times, art and culture can be sources of hope and empowerment. Gender, generational, and intersectional themes. Sinners also engages with issues of gender and generational dynamics. Female characters play pivotal roles as leaders, caregivers, and fighters, challenging traditional gender roles and highlighting the importance of women in sustaining and protecting the community. The film's intergenerational cast underscores the transmission of knowledge, culture, and resilience from elders to youth, reinforcing the idea that survival is a collective, ongoing process. Violence, trauma, and healing. The film does not shy away from the realities of violence and trauma, both historical and personal. The horror elements serve as metaphors for the wounds inflicted by racism and oppression, but the narrative is ultimately one of healing and redemption. The characters' ability to confront their fears, support one another, and reclaim their agency is portrayed as a form of resistance, a refusal to be defined or destroyed by the forces that seek to consume them. Contemporary relevance. While set in the past, Sinners is acutely aware of its contemporary relevance. The film draws explicit and implicit parallels between the struggles of the 1930s and those of today, inviting viewers to reflect on the persistence of racial injustice, cultural appropriation, and the ongoing fight for equality and recognition. Coogler's decision to retain ownership of the film after 25 years is itself a political act, challenging industry norms and asserting the importance of Black creative control. Critical and audience response. The film's social commentary has been widely praised by critics and audiences, who have lauded its ability to balance entertainment with substance. Some have noted that the film's metaphors are bold and sometimes confrontational, but most agree that its willingness to engage with difficult topics is a mark of its ambition and integrity. Sinners has sparked conversations about representation, ownership, and the role of art in challenging and changing society. Conclusion. Sinners is a film that uses the language of horror to speak profound truths about history, culture, and identity. Its social commentary is woven into every aspect of the narrative, making it a work of both entertainment and education. By confronting the legacies of oppression and celebrating the power of community and creativity, Ryan Coogler has created a film that is as relevant as it is riveting, a story that resonates far beyond the screen. Tone and style. The tone and style of Sinners are as distinctive and ambitious as its narrative and thematic aspirations. Ryan Coogler crafts a film that is at once grounded in historical realism and alive with the heightened energy of genre storytelling, resulting in a cinematic experience that is both emotionally resonant and visually exhilarating. The film's tone shifts fluidly from soulful drama to exuberant musical, from simmering suspense to outright horror, while its style is marked by a bold fusion of tradition and innovation. A tapestry of tones. Sinners opens with a sense of nostalgia and melancholy, capturing the rhythms of daily life in 1930s Mississippi. The early scenes are suffused with warmth and intimacy, as the twin brothers and their community work to build a safe haven in the form of a juke joint. The tone here is one of hope and determination, tempered by the ever-present threat of racial violence and economic hardship. Coogler's direction is sensitive and patient, allowing the audience to settle into the world before the story's darker elements emerge. As the narrative unfolds, the tone begins to shift. The grand opening of the juke joint is a moment of exuberance and celebration, with musical performances that are both joyous and defiant. The film's musical sequences are suffused with energy and emotion, blending the traditions of the blues with the spectacle of classic Hollywood musicals. The tone is infectious, drawing the audience into the characters' sense of possibility and pride. The arrival of the vampires marks a dramatic tonal shift, as the film moves into territory that is by turns suspenseful, eerie, and terrifying. Coogler handles this transition with remarkable finesse, using subtle cues, changes in lighting, music, and pacing to signal the encroaching danger. The tone becomes increasingly tense and claustrophobic, with moments of horror that are as psychologically unsettling as they are visually arresting. Balancing humor and heartbreak. One of the film's most impressive achievements is its ability to balance moments of humor and heartbreak. The script is laced with wit and warmth, particularly in the interactions between the twin brothers and their friends. These lighter moments serve not only as relief from the story's darker themes but also as reminders of the characters' humanity and resilience. The humor is never forced or out of place, it arises naturally from the characters and their circumstances. At the same time, the film does not shy away from moments of profound sorrow and loss. The violence and trauma inflicted by both human and supernatural antagonists are depicted with unflinching honesty, and the characters' grief is given space to breathe. The result is a film that is emotionally rich and complex, capable of moving the audience from laughter to tears in the span of a single scene. Visual and oral style. Visually, Sinners is a feast for the senses. The cinematography, by Autumn Durald Arcapa, is lush and evocative, capturing both the beauty and brutality of the Mississippi Delta. The use of natural light, rich color palettes, and dynamic camera movements creates a sense of immersion and immediacy. The film's visual style is both grounded in historical authenticity and heightened by the demands of genre storytelling, with Gothic horror elements seamlessly integrated into the period setting. The sound design and musical score further enhance the film's style, blending diegetic and non-diegetic elements to create a world that feels both real and mythic. The blues music is not just a backdrop but a driving force, shaping the film's emotional landscape and reinforcing its themes of struggle and resilience. Genre fusion and stylistic risk-taking. Sinners is unabashedly a genre film, but it refuses to be confined by the conventions of any one genre. Coogler's style is eclectic and daring, drawing on the traditions of Southern Gothic, horror, musical, and even Western cinema. The film's willingness to blend and subvert genre expectations is one of its defining features, resulting in a work that feels both familiar and wholly original. The stylistic risk-taking extends to the film's structure and editing. Scenes transition fluidly between tones and genres, with musical numbers giving way to moments of suspense or horror, and vice versa. The editing is purposeful and dynamic, ensuring that the film's shifts in tone are always in service of the story and characters. Symbolism and visual metaphor. The film's style is rich with symbolism and visual metaphor. The juke joint, for example, is more than just a setting, it is a symbol of hope, community, and resistance. The vampire's intrusion into this space is depicted with visual cues that evoke both horror and cultural appropriation, reinforcing the film's social commentary. The use of light and shadow, color, and composition, all serve to deepen the film's thematic resonance. Audience reception and critical response. Critics and audiences have praised Sinners for its bold and innovative tone and style. Many have noted the film's ability to navigate multiple genres and emotional registers without losing coherence or focus. The film's stylistic choices have been described as audacious, visionary, and deeply affecting, with particular praise for its ability to balance entertainment with substance. Some viewers, accustomed to more conventional genre films, may find the tonal shifts surprising or challenging. However, most agree that the film's willingness to take risks is a mark of its ambition and artistry. Conclusion. The tone and style of Sinners are integral to its power and appeal. Ryan Coogler's direction infuses the film with a sense of purpose and possibility, blending history and horror, humor and heartbreak, realism and myth. The result is a cinematic experience that is as emotionally engaging as it is visually stunning, a film that lingers in the mind and heart long after the credits roll. Technical artistry. The technical artistry of Sinners is a cornerstone of its cinematic power, elevating the film from a compelling narrative to a fully immersive, sensory experience. Every department, cinematography, production design, costume, makeup, editing, and visual effects, works in concert to create a world that is both historically authentic and richly imaginative. The result is a film that dazzles the eye, envelopes the ear, and lingers in the mind, setting a new standard for genre-blending cinema. Cinematography, a visual triumph. Autumn Durald Arkapa's cinematography is a masterclass in visual storytelling. Shooting on 65mm IMAX film, Arcapa achieves a level of detail, texture, and scope rarely seen in period dramas or horror films. The use of natural lighting, wide vistas, and intimate close-ups creates a dynamic visual language that shifts with the film's tone from the sun-drenched fields of the Mississippi Delta to the smoky, shadow-filled interiors of the juke joint. The camera's movement is purposeful, sometimes gliding gracefully through scenes of musical exuberance, other times lingering in claustrophobic spaces to heighten suspense. The interplay of light and shadow is particularly effective in the horror sequences, where the supernatural is suggested as much as shown. Production design, building a living world. Production designer Hannah Beekler, who previously collaborated with Ryan Coogler on Black Panther, brings the 1930s South to life with meticulous attention to detail. Every set is constructed to reflect the era's textures and realities, from the weathered wood of the juke joint to the humble homes and bustling streets of Clarksdale. Props, signage, and period-accurate instruments immerse the audience in the world, making the supernatural elements all the more jarring when they appear. The juke joint itself is a triumph of design, functioning as both a sanctuary and a battleground, its layout and decor evolving with the story's emotional beats. Costume and makeup, embodying character and era. Ruth E. Carter's costume design is integral to the film's authenticity and character development. The clothing reflects the economic realities of the time: faded fabrics, patched garments, and hand-me-downs, while also expressing individual personalities. The twins' contrasting styles, the musicians' flamboyant suits, and the townspeople's Sunday best all contribute to a vibrant visual tapestry. The makeup team's work is equally impressive, especially in the transformation of the vampires. Subtle prosthetics, period-accurate hairstyles, and carefully applied effects create creatures that are both alluring and terrifying, blending seamlessly into the film's world. Sound design and music, a sonic landscape. The technical artistry extends to the film's sound design, which is as layered and evocative as its visuals. Ambient sounds: the hum of cicadas, the clatter of glasses, the distant rumble of trains ground the story in a specific place and time. The sound team expertly manipulates volume, silence, and distortion to build suspense and signal shifts in tone. Ludwig Göransson's score, blending Delta blues with orchestral and electronic elements, is woven into the fabric of the film, enhancing both the emotional and narrative arcs. Musical performances are recorded live on set, capturing the raw energy and spontaneity of the juke joint. Editing, rhythm and flow. The editing, led by Claudia Costello, is a study in rhythm and pacing. The film's structure is dynamic, shifting between moments of quiet introspection, explosive action, and musical exuberance. Transitions between genres and tones are handled with finesse, ensuring that the audience is never jarred out of the story. The editing also plays a crucial role in the film's horror sequences, using quick cuts, lingering shots, and strategic silences to build tension and deliver scares. Visual effects, subtlety and impact. While Sinners relies primarily on practical effects, its visual effects are used judiciously to enhance the supernatural elements without overwhelming the film's grounded aesthetic. The vampire's transformations, the manipulation of shadows, and the occasional surreal visual flourish are all executed with restraint and artistry. The effects serve the story, heightening the sense of danger and wonder without detracting from the film's emotional realism. Collaboration and cohesion. What truly sets Sinners apart is the cohesion of its technical departments. Every element, visual, auditory, tactile, feels purposeful and integrated, reflecting a shared vision and meticulous planning. The collaboration between director, cinematographer, designers, and editors is evident in every frame, resulting in a film that is as unified as it is ambitious. Critical acclaim and industry impact. The technical artistry of Sinners has been widely recognized by critics and industry professionals. The film is considered a front-runner for awards in cinematography, production design, costume, and sound. Its use of IMAX film, in particular, has sparked conversations about the future of theatrical cinema and the importance of preserving and advancing technical craftsmanship in an age of digital convenience. Conclusion: Sinners is a triumph of technical artistry, demonstrating that genre films can be as visually and sonically sophisticated as any prestige drama. Through its masterful use of cinematography, design, sound, and effects, the film creates a world that is both immersive and unforgettable. It stands as a testament to the power of collaboration and craft, setting a new benchmark for what is possible in contemporary cinema. Audience experience. The audience experience of Sinners is nothing short of immersive, transporting viewers into the heart of 1930s Mississippi and holding them there through a masterful blend of sensory detail, emotional engagement, and genre-bending spectacle. Ryan Coogler's vision is realized not only through technical brilliance and narrative depth but through a deliberate crafting of how the film feels, sounds, and resonates with its audience, both in the moment and long after the credits roll. A sensory journey, sight, sound, and atmosphere. From the very first frame, Sinners envelopes the audience in a rich tapestry of sights and sounds. The decision to shoot on 65mm IMAX film means that every detail, the sweat on a musician's brow, the flicker of lantern light, the dust swirling in the Mississippi heat, is rendered with breathtaking clarity and depth. The vastness of the Delta, the intimacy of the juke joint, and the creeping menace of the supernatural are all heightened by the film's visual grandeur. The sound design further enhances this immersion. The blues music is not just heard but felt, vibrating through the theater and into the bones of the audience. Ambient noises, the hum of insects, the distant thunder, the clinking of glasses create a living, breathing world. When the horror elements emerge, the soundscape shifts, silence becomes a weapon, and sudden bursts of noise jolt viewers from their seats. In premium formats like Dolby Cinema or IMAX, the effect is especially powerful, making Sinners a film that begs to be experienced on the biggest screen with the best sound possible. Emotional resonance and character connection. What truly sets the audience experience apart is the film's emotional impact. Coogler's careful character development ensures that viewers are deeply invested in the fates of Smoke, Stack, and the wider community. The slow burn pacing of the first act gives audiences time to connect with the characters' dreams, fears, and relationships. When the supernatural threat finally emerges, the stakes feel personal and urgent, amplifying the tension and suspense. The film's moments of joy, musical performances, laughter, and moments of solidarity are infectious, drawing viewers into the communal spirit of the juke joint. Conversely, scenes of violence, loss, and fear are deeply affecting, eliciting genuine empathy and heartbreak. The emotional roller coaster is heightened by the film's willingness to linger on quiet moments of grief, hope, and resilience, allowing the audience to process and reflect alongside the characters. Genre bending and audience expectations. Sinners is a film that challenges and rewards its audience. Its genre-blending approach, combining drama, horror, musical, and historical epic, means that viewers are constantly kept on their toes. For some, this unpredictability is exhilarating, offering a cinematic experience that feels fresh and original. For others, especially those expecting a straightforward horror film, the slow build and shifting tones may take some adjustment. However, most audiences and critics agree that the film's ambition pays off. The gradual escalation from grounded drama to supernatural horror is handled with such finesse that the transition feels both surprising and inevitable. The horror sequences, when they arrive, are all the more effective for having been so carefully foreshadowed, delivering genuine scares without resorting to cheap tricks. Cultural and social impact. The audience experience of Sinners is also shaped by its cultural and social commentary. For Black viewers, the film's celebration of community, resilience, and artistic legacy is both affirming and cathartic. The metaphors of vampirism and cultural appropriation resonate on a deep level, sparking conversations about history, ownership, and identity. For all audiences, the film's exploration of universal themes, family, survival, hope ensures that its impact transcends cultural boundaries. The film's release has been marked by lively discussions, think pieces, and social media engagement, with many viewers sharing personal reflections and interpretations. The communal aspect of the juke joint is mirrored in the communal experience of watching and discussing the film, making Sinners not just a movie but an event. Theatrical vs. home viewing. While Sinners will eventually find its way to streaming platforms, it is designed first and foremost as a theatrical experience. Coogler and his team have emphasized the importance of seeing the film in a cinema, where the scale, sound, and communal energy can be fully appreciated. Early audience reactions suggest that the film's impact is significantly heightened in a theater, where the collective gasps, laughter, and applause create a sense of shared journey. Some viewers have noted that the film's dense sound mix and overlapping dialogue can be challenging to follow, especially in noisy environments or on smaller screens. For this reason, many recommend seeing the film in premium formats or with closed captioning to ensure that every nuance is captured. Lasting impressions. Long after the final scene, Sinners lingers in the mind and heart. Audiences leave the theater not just with memories of scares and spectacle, but with a sense of having witnessed something profound and meaningful. The film's blend of entertainment and substance ensures that it is discussed, debated, and revisited, cementing its place as a landmark in contemporary cinema. Conclusion. The audience experience of Sinners is a testament to the power of film to transport, challenge, and unite. Through its sensory richness, emotional depth, and cultural resonance, the film offers a journey that is as unforgettable as it is unique. Whether experienced in a packed theater or a quiet living room, Sinners is a film that demands and rewards attention, reflection, and conversation. Originality and familiarity. Sinners stands out in the crowded landscape of genre cinema for its remarkable balance between originality and familiarity. Ryan Coogler's film draws on a rich tapestry of cinematic traditions: horror, western, musical, and historical drama, while simultaneously subverting expectations and forging new ground. This interplay between what's known and what's novel is a key reason the film resonates so powerfully with audiences and critics alike. Foundations in classic genres. At first glance, Sinners appears to be rooted in familiar territory. The setting, a racially segregated Mississippi town in the 1930s, evokes the Southern Gothic tradition, with echoes of films like To Kill a Mockingbird and The Color Purple. The narrative structure, with its slow burn introduction and escalating supernatural threat, recalls both classic and contemporary horror films. The juke joint, with its music and dance, is reminiscent of beloved musicals and period dramas. Even the vampire mythology, with its ancient roots and well-worn tropes, is instantly recognizable to genre fans. Yet, Coogler's approach to these familiar elements is anything but conventional. Rather than relying on clichés or formulaic storytelling, he uses these traditions as a foundation upon which to build something wholly original. Reimagining the vampire myth. Perhaps the film's most striking act of originality is its reimagining of the vampire myth. In Sinners, vampires are not merely supernatural monsters, they are metaphors for the historical exploitation and appropriation of black culture. By setting the story in the heart of blues country and making the vampires covetous not just of blood but of music and spirit, Coogler infuses the familiar horror trope with new meaning and urgency. The result is a film that is both a love letter to and a critique of American cultural history. The vampire's ability to blend in, seduce, and manipulate is used to explore themes of cultural theft, assimilation, and resistance. This metaphorical depth elevates the film above standard horror fare, making its scares and suspense resonate on a social and emotional level. Genre fusion as innovation. Sinners is also original in its fearless genre fusion. While many films blend elements from different genres, few do so with such confidence and coherence. The film moves seamlessly from drama to musical to horror to western, often within the same scene. Musical numbers are not mere diversions but integral to the plot and character development. Action sequences are choreographed with the flair of a western showdown, while the horror is rooted in both the supernatural and the historical realities of the time. This willingness to blend and bend genres is itself a form of originality, challenging audiences to expand their expectations and embrace a more fluid, dynamic form of storytelling. Character archetypes and subversion. The characters in Sinners are at once archetypal and deeply individual. The twin brothers, for example, embody familiar roles: the cautious leader and the charismatic dreamer, but are rendered with such nuance and specificity that they feel entirely fresh. The supporting cast, from the wise mentor to the seductive antagonist, are similarly grounded in tradition but brought to life with complexity and depth. Coogler subverts expectations at every turn. The film's heroes are not lone saviors but members of a resilient, interdependent community. The female characters are not relegated to the sidelines but play pivotal roles in the story's resolution. Even the antagonists are given layers of motivation and symbolism, complicating the usual good versus evil dynamic. Visual and sonic innovation. On a technical level, Sinners is a triumph of originality. The decision to shoot on 65mm IMAX film, the use of live-recorded blues performances, and the integration of period-accurate production design with stylized horror visuals all contribute to a cinematic experience that feels both timeless and cutting-edge. The sound design, blending traditional blues with modern orchestral and electronic elements, is similarly inventive, reinforcing the film's themes of continuity and change. Balancing comfort and surprise. One of the film's greatest achievements is its ability to balance the comfort of the familiar with the thrill of the unexpected. Audiences are invited into a world that feels authentic and lived in, only to be surprised by the ways in which the story, characters, and visuals defy convention. This dynamic keeps viewers engaged and invested, rewarding both genre aficionados and newcomers. Critical and audience reception. Critics have praised Sinners for its originality, noting that it feels both like a classic and a revelation. Many have highlighted the film's ability to honor cinematic traditions while pushing the boundaries of what genre films can achieve. Audiences, too, have responded to the film's freshness, with many citing its unpredictability and emotional depth as reasons for its lasting impact. Conclusion. Sinners is a masterclass in balancing originality and familiarity. By reimagining classic genres, subverting expectations, and infusing every element with creative vision, Ryan Coogler has crafted a film that is at once timeless and utterly new. It is a work that honors the past while forging a bold path forward, ensuring its place as a landmark in contemporary cinema. Criticisms. While Sinners has garnered widespread acclaim for its ambition, artistry, and social resonance, it is not without its detractors or points of contention. Like any film that takes risks and pushes boundaries, it has sparked debate among critics and audiences alike. Understanding these criticisms not only offers a more balanced perspective but also highlights the film's complexity and the challenges inherent in genre-blending storytelling. Pacing and structure. One of the most frequently cited criticisms of Sinners centers on its pacing, particularly in the first act. Some viewers, especially those expecting a traditional horror film, have found the film's slow build and emphasis on character development to be overly languid. The deliberate, almost meditative approach to world building and relationship dynamics can test the patience of audiences accustomed to more immediate thrills. A few critics have argued that the film takes too long to introduce its supernatural elements, potentially losing the attention of genre fans eager for scares and action. The film's structure, which oscillates between drama, musical, and horror, has also been described by some as uneven. While many praise the seamless genre fusion, others feel that the tonal shifts can be jarring, making it difficult to settle into a consistent emotional rhythm. The transition from the joyous musical sequences to the tense horror set pieces, though intentional, may not work for every viewer. Horror elements, underdeveloped or too subtle. Another common critique relates to the film's handling of horror. While Sinners is lauded for its atmospheric tension and metaphorical depth, some horror aficionados have expressed disappointment at the relatively restrained use of scares and gore. The supernatural threat, while thematically rich, is introduced late and occupies less screen time than some might expect from a film marketed as a horror epic. A subset of viewers has found the horror elements too subtle or allegorical, craving more visceral terror or sustained suspense. For those seeking a more conventional vampire film, the emphasis on metaphor and social commentary may feel like a distraction from the genre's traditional pleasures. Narrative density and thematic complexity. Sinners is a film dense with ideas, symbolism, and historical context. While this intellectual ambition is a strength, it can also be a barrier for some audiences. The film's layering of metaphors, vampirism as racism, cultural appropriation, trauma, and resistance may feel overwhelming or didactic to those who prefer a more straightforward narrative. A few critics have suggested that the film tries to tackle too many themes at once, resulting in moments where the messaging overshadows character or plot. Sound mixing and dialogue clarity. A technical criticism that has surfaced in several reviews concerns the film's sound mixing. The immersive sound design, while praised for its authenticity and atmosphere, sometimes renders dialogue difficult to discern, particularly in crowded scenes or musical numbers. Some viewers have recommended watching the film with closed captions to catch every nuance, especially in theaters where acoustics may vary. Ending and message delivery. The film's conclusion, which features a bold anti-Klan message and a metaphorical triumph over the forces of oppression, has divided some critics. While many celebrate the film's unapologetic stance and cathartic resolution, others feel that the ending is too on the nose or didactic. The overt symbolism, while powerful, may come across as heavy-handed to viewers who prefer more subtlety in their social commentary. Genre expectations and audience reception. As a genre-blending film, Sinners inevitably challenges and sometimes frustrates audience expectations. Fans of musicals may find the horror elements unsettling, while horror fans may be surprised by the film's emphasis on music, history, and character. This refusal to fit neatly into a single category is both a strength and a source of criticism, as it demands flexibility and openness from its audience. Representation and historical accuracy. While the film has been widely praised for its representation of Black history and culture, a few critics have questioned the balance between historical accuracy and artistic license. The blending of real-world oppression with supernatural horror, while effective as metaphor, may raise questions about the portrayal of trauma and the responsibilities of storytellers when dealing with sensitive subject matter. Conclusion. The criticisms of Sinners are, in many ways, a reflection of its ambition and complexity. By daring to blend genres, tackle weighty themes, and prioritize character over convention, the film inevitably courts controversy and division. Yet, even its detractors often acknowledge the film's artistry, intent, and impact. For many, the very elements that spark criticism are also what make Sinners a landmark work, challenging, thought-provoking, and impossible to ignore. Awards potential. Sinners arrives as not just a cinematic event but as a formidable contender in the awards circuit, generating early buzz and anticipation across major categories. The film's technical mastery, genre-defying storytelling, and powerful performances have positioned it as a likely front-runner for both critical and industry recognition. This section explores the factors fueling its awards potential, the categories where it stands out, and the broader implications for the film industry. Critical acclaim and industry momentum. From its premiere, Sinners has been met with glowing reviews, with critics praising its ambition, artistry, and cultural resonance. The film's ability to blend horror, drama, musical, and historical epic into a cohesive and emotionally charged narrative has been hailed as a triumph. Such critical acclaim is a strong predictor of award success, especially when paired with robust box office performance and cultural impact. Industry insiders have noted the film's passionate support among Guild members and Academy voters, particularly in branches that recognize technical and artistic innovation. The film's production values, from its IMAX cinematography to its period-accurate design and evocative score, have set a new standard for genre cinema. Major categories: Best Picture and Best Director. Sinners is widely expected to be a contender for Best Picture, a category that increasingly rewards films that push boundaries and reflect contemporary social issues. The film's blend of entertainment and substance, coupled with its resonance in the current cultural climate, aligns with recent trends in Academy voting. Ryan Coogler's direction is also a standout. His ability to orchestrate a sprawling, multi-genre narrative while maintaining emotional intimacy and thematic clarity is likely to earn him nominations for Best Director from both the Academy and major critics groups. Coogler's previous recognition for Black Panther and Fruitvale Station further bolsters his standing as one of the most influential filmmakers of his generation. Acting categories: Dual roles and ensemble excellence. Michael B. Jordan's dual performance as Smoke and Stack is a tour de force, garnering early buzz for Best Actor. His ability to inhabit two distinct characters with depth, subtlety, and charisma is the kind of showcase that often attracts awards attention. Supporting performances by Delroy Lindo, Jack O'Connell, and the ensemble cast have also been singled out for praise, making the film a potential contender in the supporting categories. The film's ensemble nature, with its rich tapestry of characters and standout moments for multiple actors, could also see it recognized by the Screen Actors Guild, SAG, for outstanding performance by a cast. Technical categories: A showcase of craft. Where Sinners truly excels is in its technical artistry, making it a strong contender in categories such as Best Cinematography. Autumn Durald Arkapa's groundbreaking work with IMAX film could make her the first woman to win in this category, following in the footsteps of recent nominees like Rachel Morrison and Mandy Walker. Best Production Design. Hannah Beachler's meticulous recreation of 1930s Mississippi, combined with the film's supernatural elements, is likely to attract attention. Best Costume Design. Ruth E. Carter's period-accurate and character-driven costumes are both visually stunning and narratively meaningful. Best Sound and Best Original Score. Ludwig Göransson's fusion of blues, orchestral, and modern elements, along with the film's immersive sound design, are likely to be recognized. Best Film Editing. Claudia Costello's dynamic editing, which balances multiple genres and tones, is a technical feat worthy of awards consideration. Best Visual Effects and Makeup. The film's subtle but effective use of practical and digital effects to create its vampires and supernatural sequences is another area of strength. Screenplay and Original Song. The screenplay, co-written by Coogler and Joe Robert Cole, is a contender for Best Original Screenplay, thanks to its rich dialogue, layered themes, and innovative structure. The film's original songs, performed live in the juke joint sequences, could also see nominations in the Best Original Song category, especially given the narrative importance and emotional impact of the music. Cultural impact and industry significance. Beyond individual categories, Sinners has the potential to make history in several ways. Its success could further open the door for genre films, particularly those centered on Black stories and creators, to be recognized at the highest levels. Coogler's unique deal with Warner Bros., which allows him to regain ownership of the film after 25 years, is itself a landmark for creative rights and could influence industry practices moving forward. Challenges and competition. While the film's awards prospects are strong, it faces competition from other high-profile releases and the perennial challenge of genre bias, particularly in the horror and musical categories. However, the recent success of films like Get Out, Parasite, and Everything Everywhere All at Once suggests that the Academy and other bodies are increasingly open to innovative, boundary-pushing works. Conclusion. Sinners is poised to be a major player in the upcoming awards season, with strengths across artistic, technical, and cultural dimensions. Its blend of originality and craft, coupled with its timely themes and unforgettable performances, make it a film that not only deserves recognition but is likely to receive it. Whether or not it sweeps the major categories, its impact on the industry and on audiences is already assured. Overall impact. Sinners is more than just a film, it is a cultural milestone and a cinematic experience that reverberates far beyond its runtime. Ryan Coogler's ambitious fusion of genres, history, and social commentary culminates in a work that challenges, entertains, and inspires. The overall impact of Sinners can be understood through its artistic achievements, cultural significance, and lasting influence on audiences and the film industry alike. A bold artistic statement. At its core, Sinners is a bold artistic statement about the power of storytelling and the possibilities of cinema. Coogler's vision, melding the blues, horror, musical, and historical drama, defies conventional genre boundaries and expands the vocabulary of American filmmaking. The film's technical mastery, from its groundbreaking IMAX cinematography to its evocative sound design, creates an immersive sensory experience that draws viewers deeply into its world. The performances, particularly Michael B. Jordan's dual roles, anchor the film emotionally, ensuring that its ambitious narrative remains human and relatable. The film's pacing and tone, while sometimes challenging, contribute to a layered and textured storytelling approach that rewards patience and engagement. Cultural resonance and social commentary. Sinners resonates powerfully as a reflection on Black history, culture, and resilience. Its metaphorical use of vampirism to explore themes of oppression, cultural appropriation, and resistance offers a fresh and urgent perspective on long-standing social issues. The film's unapologetic celebration of Black music, community, and creativity serves as both a tribute and a call to action. This cultural resonance has sparked widespread discussion and analysis, positioning Sinners as a film that transcends entertainment to become a catalyst for dialogue about race, identity, and artistic ownership. Its impact is felt not only in theaters but in classrooms, social media, and critical discourse. Industry influence and legacy. The film's success and critical acclaim have already begun to influence the industry. Coogler's unique deal with Warner Bros., which grants him ownership rights after 25 years, challenges traditional studio models and advocates for greater creative control and legacy preservation for filmmakers, particularly Black creators. This move has inspired conversations about equity and ownership in Hollywood. Technically, Sinners sets new standards for large-format filmmaking and genre innovation. Its use of 65mm IMAX film and live-recorded musical performances demonstrates the continuing relevance and evolution of cinematic craft in the digital age. The film's recognition in awards circuits further cements its place as a trailblazer. Audience and critical reception. The overall reception of Sinners has been overwhelmingly positive, with many viewers describing it as a transformative experience. Its blend of entertainment and substance appeals to a broad spectrum of audiences, from genre enthusiasts to art house cinephiles. The film's emotional depth and social relevance ensure that it resonates on multiple levels. Critics have lauded the film for its ambition, craftsmanship, and heart, often describing it as a modern classic. While some have noted its pacing and tonal shifts as potential challenges, these are generally seen as integral to its unique voice and vision. Lasting emotional and intellectual impact. Perhaps the most enduring aspect of Sinners is its ability to linger in the minds and hearts of its viewers. The film invites reflection on personal and collective histories, the nature of evil and resistance, and the transformative power of art. Its characters' journeys of survival, love, and redemption offer universal themes that transcend time and place. The film's musical sequences, visual poetry, and narrative complexity encourage multiple viewings and ongoing discussion, ensuring its place in the cultural canon. Conclusion. In sum, Sinners is a landmark film whose overall impact is profound and multifaceted. It challenges cinematic norms, amplifies marginalized voices, and delivers a story that is as entertaining as it is essential. Ryan Coogler's masterpiece is poised to influence filmmakers, audiences, and the industry for years to come, standing as a testament to the power of visionary storytelling. Final verdict. Sinners is a film that boldly redefines the boundaries of genre cinema and cements Ryan Coogler's status as one of the most visionary filmmakers of his generation. It is an ambitious, multi-layered work, one that fuses historical drama, supernatural horror, musical exuberance, and social commentary into a singular, unforgettable cinematic experience. The film's final verdict is not just a summary of its strengths and weaknesses, but a celebration of its daring, its heart, and its lasting significance. A triumph of vision and execution. From its opening moments, Sinners makes clear that it is not content to follow a well-trodden path. Coogler's direction is assured and inventive, guiding the film through shifting tones and genres with a steady hand. The decision to shoot on 65mm IMAX film, the meticulous period detail, the live-recorded blues performances, and the seamless integration of horror and history all speak to a director at the height of his creative powers. The film's technical artistry is matched by its emotional resonance. Michael B. Jordan's dual performance as Smoke and Stack is a revelation, anchoring the narrative with vulnerability, charisma, and depth. The supporting cast, especially Delroy Lindo, Jack O'Connell, and the ensemble of musicians and townsfolk, bring the world of Clarksdale to vibrant, authentic life. A story that matters. What truly elevates Sinners is its willingness to engage with weighty themes and urgent questions. The film's exploration of racism, cultural appropriation, community, and resistance is woven into every aspect of its narrative and design. The metaphor of vampirism as exploitation is both powerful and provocative, inviting viewers to reflect on the ways in which black art, labor, and identity have been consumed and commodified throughout history. Yet, for all its intellectual ambition, Sinners never loses sight of its characters or its audience. The film is as entertaining as it is enlightening, delivering moments of genuine suspense, joy, heartbreak, and catharsis. The musical sequences are exuberant and infectious, the horror set pieces are chilling and inventive, and the dramatic arcs are deeply moving. Strengths and limitations. No film is without its imperfections, and Sinners is no exception. Its deliberate pacing and genre-blending structure may challenge viewers expecting a more conventional horror or musical experience. The film's density of ideas and symbolism can, at times, feel overwhelming, and its social commentary is unapologetically direct. However, these are the risks of a work that refuses to compromise or dilute its vision. For those willing to engage with its complexities, Sinners offers immense rewards. It is a film that grows richer with each viewing, revealing new layers of meaning and artistry. Cultural and industry impact. Sinners is already being hailed as a landmark in contemporary cinema. Its success at the box office and in critical circles signals a growing appetite for films that challenge, innovate, and reflect the diversity of human experience. Coogler's unique deal with Warner Bros. Regarding film ownership is a potential game-changer for creative rights in Hollywood, further cementing the film's legacy beyond the screen. The film's impact on audiences, particularly black viewers who see their history, culture, and resilience reflected with such care and creativity, cannot be overstated. Sinners is a film that inspires pride, conversation, and hope. A must-see for all audiences. In its final assessment, Sinners is a must-see for anyone who loves cinema. It is a film that entertains and educates, that thrills and provokes, that honors the past while pointing boldly toward the future. Whether you are drawn by its genre elements, its historical setting, its music, or its message, you will find something to move and challenge you. Conclusion. Sinners is not just a film, but an event, a work of art that will be discussed, studied, and cherished for years to come. Ryan Coogler and his extraordinary team have crafted a story that is as vital as it is visionary. In a world hungry for new voices and new stories, Sinners stands as a beacon of what cinema can achieve when it dares to dream big and speak truthfully. Final verdict. A masterful, genre-defying triumph that is as emotionally resonant as it is visually stunning. Sinners is destined to become a classic, and its legacy will endure as both entertainment and cultural touchstone.